Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And this is one of those occasions where events are moving so quickly that the order of things I wanted to do changes, quite a pace. Now, I was going to do this story, and let me just show you the headline of what I was going to do, which is this. So this was the story I was going to do. Maggie Chapman was responsible for having the Hoyrood not fly the Israeli flag. She's an anti-Semitic, pro-barbarian supporter of those who cut the heads off babies and shoot children in the face, who are women, and then mutilate their bodies and display the bodies of mutilated women. She's all for those kind of people and very anti-Semitic and wants nothing to do with Israel because that's who she is. That's when she's not busy trying to sexualise children. So I was going to be doing that story about this piece of human filth. But then I decided I'm not going to do that story about this piece of human filth. What I'm going to do is to do this story about this piece of human filth, and it is this one here. Because the police are now investigating her over the comments she made. So I will still be talking about that piece of human filth, the vertical turd, but we'll be doing it from a slightly different viewpoint. Now, the police are looking at her because of her hatred of all things Jewish, her admiration for barbarianism, her admiration for those that would kill over 1,000 people, innocent people now. She loves them so much. She is not a feminist, of course. She's pro the R of women. She's pro the mutilation of women. She's pro the M of innocent people. That's who she is. We know what she is. And of course, Hamza loves her. Hamza Yousaf won't say anything against her because he too obviously has the same beliefs. But we'll go and have a look at this now. Maggie Chapman breaks silence over vile Israel comments as Police Scotland probes complaint. Now, she has come out and she's gone, oh, no, it's a terrible thing now, 3 days later. It's a terrible thing. Oh, I've got to make this now. Because obviously she's seen the police are probing it and she thinks, my little self-awareness thing kicks in and goes, I better change my view on this so that I don't get arrested and charged with breaching public decency laws because I'm a vile piece of human filth. And so she's come out now and she's condemning it and saying it's a terrible thing. Presumably someone has told her to do this. It wouldn't have come off her own back because we know what a piece of filth she truly is. She's an insect, isn't she? She's a cockroach. She is something that if you trod on her, you're going to find somewhere to scrape her off your boot because she stinks worse than dog shit. Because she's not even dog shit, is she? Anyway, Scottish Greens MSP has now issued a statement where she condemned Hamas 3 days after posting her original, utterly disgraceful comments, which praised the brave men and women of Hamas for going in and killing over 1,000 innocent people, including cutting the heads off babies in front of their mothers. They are brilliant people, according to this, piece of scum. Absolute scum. Look at those eyes. They're the eyes of a psychopath. She aligns herself with people who destroy children. As she wants to do, but she wants to do it sexually, of course. Police Scotland is looking into an official complaint made about Maggie Chapman over vile comments about the terrorist attack in Israel. The Scottish Greens MSP has been widely criticised for blaming the Middle East country for the attacks by Hamas. Now, it doesn't matter what one person does. You cannot, what's the word I'm looking for here? Conflate. You cannot conflate the two issues. I'm not saying Israel are entirely innocent of everything. Of course not. But just because somebody does one thing doesn't mean that the other thing is allowable. What they did, what Hamas did, ended up killing more Jews in a single day. The last time, since the Holocaust, basically, since the 40s. That's the last time ever. Go and watch Schindler's List, seriously, because that's actually, you're not seeing as many deaths in that as you see in what happened in Israel the other day. That's what's happened there. First Minister Hamza Yousaf has already refused to axe the Butte House Agreement because he loves it. He loves the Greens. He thinks the Greens are marvellous and therefore aligns himself totally with their views. He's pro-Hamas as well. He's pro-baby murdering. He said this was even despite the what's called an utterly disgraceful social media post But anyway, now cops are assessing the statement, which could lead to criminal proceedings being started against the controversial North East MSP. I think she's very controversial. I think she's a right controversial person. Ms. Chapman claimed the Hamas attack on the Israeli music festival was a consequence of actions by the Israeli state. No, it isn't. It's because they're barbaric monsters who like to kill babies. And she admires them. I'm not going to let her get away with it. That's who she is. She said, what's happening in Palestine is a consequence of apartheid, of illegal occupation and of imperial aggression by the Israeli state. No, it really isn't. What's happening there is people that she aligns to are going out and being utter barbarians and who deserve no sympathy. And they get everything that's coming to them. And that means they're supporters. And their supporters are everyone in Gaza. Make no mistake about it. Palestinian civilians have seen their homes destroyed, their water stolen, their land appropriated illegally. Yes. And is any of that equal to the murder of a baby? Police have been made aware of the post following a complaint by angry social media users. And the Scottish Green MSP has faced calls to resign over her position and has kept the tweet up despite widespread anger. Because she's just filled with hate and loathing. And she's filled also with creeping, slithering nastiness. The thing is, and I'm going to show you this. I posted on her Twitter, and I'm going to show you what I posted because why not? Here, and that's what I posted. I said, "You are a vile, reprehensible excuse for a human being, and your views cannot be walked back. Babies had heads cut off in front of mothers, and you support these barbarians. You are a weasel, an insect, and if what happened to them happens to you, I would not bat an eyelid." And that's what I posted. Because that's how I feel. Anyway, former Scottish Tory leader Jackson Carlaw, who represents an area with the biggest Jewish population in Scotland, wrote to Mr Yousaf urging him to axe the coalition agreement with the Greens due to the post. But the SNP leader refused to do so and made these calls crass. He said these were crass to call for that. No, Mr Yousaf, what's being crass is supporting these people and supporting views like that. And that goes very much, I think, across the entire political spectrum of Scotland and the world, that they were wrong. And you are aligning yourself. You have failed, I think, to read the room. And that is going to cost you big time. I think there are SNP supporters out there who will look at what's happened in Israel and will be sickened by it. And will be sickened even more that the leader of their party and the leader of the country aligns himself with views like that. It's fascism. You are no different. You are like the bad guys of the Second World War. Big time. And some people will just not vote for that. They don't want you to do that. And you have to ask how much of this view, how much of your alignment with that view is based on your religion. And if your religion is there and it's causing you to believe that rather than serving the country, then I think you must make a choice between your occupation, your position and your religion. And either way, you either condemn it, condemn them, fire the Greens and say, yes, you totally think it was wrong, or you resign your position out of solidarity with the woman you obviously love. Mr. Carlaw said, Saturday saw more Jews murdered than any single day since the events of the Holocaust. He says, with notable exceptions, the response to the brutal terror of Hamas from too many Scottish politicians has been silence or feeble or inexcusable. Words of the Scottish Greens, shame us all. He added that Miss Chapman's comments expose the disgusting bigotry that pollutes the Scottish Greens and makes them totally unfit to be a party of government. And his statement was echoed by a number of prominent politicians. They've all had enough of the Greens. They all want these green scum to fuck off, basically, back under the stone from whence they crawled, because they are not even human beings. They're subhuman. Anyone who thinks that that is acceptable is not a human being. Conservative MP Andrew Bowie MP said, I've resisted commenting on stuff like this online for some time this weekend, but this is utterly disgraceful. As women, children and the elderly are being used as a weapon of war by these people, This is the response of a North East Scotland MSP. It's disgusting. His colleague, MSP Murdo Fraser, said her statement had shown her to be a rape apologist. I have to say that like that because YouTube. Miss Chapman has now taken to social media to condemn Hamas 3 days after her original comments went viral because she knew the police were coming for her and wanted to be seen as someone who wasn't an anti-Semitic, hate-filled piece of human scum. She wrote, "The killing of innocent civilians by Hamas in Israel is reprehensible, I've been told to say. I condemn them wholeheartedly, and anyone who knows me will know that this is my view and not the view that's being exposed by the people who are telling me to write it right now so that I don't get investigated by the police. The crisis goes back decades. Earlier this week, I shared a tweet trying to put this complex situation into some context. No, you didn't. You shared a tweet showing your support for these animals. And that is who you are. She is scum. She is unworthy of position in government, of representing any people. She's a representative of the people. She doesn't represent any people I know. Everyone I know is disgusted by that event, and everyone I know is disgusted by that, which is just... I can't feel words. I'm quite erudite, and I cannot think of words bad enough to describe the loathing I have for that. It is a cancerous oozing. It is a piece of life that should never have been given, to any soul. And if what happens to those poor women in Israel happened to her, I think nobody would care. Nobody would rise. If I saw it happening in the street, I would whistle a happy tune and I would walk on by, making sure she saw me smiling at her. Because that's how much loathing I have for that grovelling piece of shit. And I'm coming up. Do you remember when the Queen died and that chip shop owner said, "Oh, good, God bless, the Queen's dead, great, super great news," and all that. And then they kicked the shit out of her shop and basically she had to go. She never, she lost her business, lost everything because she thought she was being clever. Well, that's what this is. These people see what happens before they understand anything that's happened. "Oh, look at this, isn't it great? Look at that." Yeah, trying to appear smooth and clever and lefty and right on and hip. And then the true horror of what happens comes out. And they realise that they are just basically in the wrong. They know they're wrong. They know they've fucked up really big time. But it's too late to walk it back. So they try and give some half-hearted apology and say something afterwards. But it's far too late. She's finished. She's done. And I want everyone in the world to know about her. I want her to walk down the street and everybody hurl abuse at her every day for the rest of her life. I want her to know no minute that people aren't loathing that piece of shit. And I'm not holding back. She annoys me that much. She annoys me about the things she wants to do to children. And now she comes out and does this. I think this woman is just a vile, vile animal. She's not, she's a virus, isn't she? She's the virus that gives you the shits. That's what she is. She is just that, isn't she? She's a shit virus of a human being. Anyway, I've got to calm down. I'm going to go and have a nice cup of tea. And my next video is going to be a lot calmer. And I'm so sorry that I go like this with this subject. The more I read about it, the more the atrocities come out, the worse they seem to get. And I just can't clear it from my mind. And then for these wankers to sit there and apologise for them and to show support for them, it sickens me to the stomach. And I'm sorry. Anyway, I shall stop. I shall go and have a cup of tea. I shall calm down. And it shall be business as usual. Because at least I know at least one more is going to be a fairly good story. And then I'll just go and bang my head against a brick wall or something about something else. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. And goodbye for this video.